Every year, teams in the NFL are trying to improve, whether they just went 3-13 or 13-3. There's always room for improvement, and even the New England Patriots would say that. All 32 NFL teams are going after one trophy, and they all have their eyes on the prize. Over the past few weeks, I've been doing a lot of player projection videos, but now it's time to switch to team projection videos before the 2019 season officially kicks off. I'm going to start the division previews off with the AFC East. The order that I will do the previews in per video will go by the teams that finished in order from worst to first in 2018. Before I get started on the New York Jets, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, so all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The New York Jets improved a lot as a team from 2018 to 2019. They added arguably the best player in the entire draft in Quinnen Williams at 3rd overall, which was a huge addition to their defensive line. They also added running back Le'Veon Bell through free agency, which will only help their young franchise quarterback Sam Darnold. Le'Veon is a great pass catcher and should aid Darnold, especially when he's under pressure, and he can use Bell as a nice safety valve when the play starts to break down. A lot of their 2019 success is going to depend on Darnold and how he himself performs. I don't see any way how Darnold does not improve from year 1 to year 2, based on the fact of natural progression and better skilled players around him this year than last. Stranger things have happened in the NFL, but I am expecting big improvements from him. The Jets' 3rd round pick, Jachai Polite, in my opinion, is either a boom or bust player. There were a lot of reports that came out around draft time on him being immature and things of that nature, but I truly do think that he will mature fast due to players like Leonard Williams and Jamal Adams on the defense. I could see Polite having 5 to 6 sacks as a rookie, and then maybe 10 to 12 a couple years down the road. I want the Jets to succeed as a team in 2019, and I honestly think they could start out as bad as 1-6, but finish 7-9 or 8-8. The front half of their schedule is brutal, as they play Cleveland on Monday night in week 2, and then play at New England. They then have a bye week and play at Philly, home against Dallas, home against New England, and at Jacksonville. That for any team is a tough start, and especially for a young team. I do think they could finish as high as 8-8 like I said, but things have the potential to start out rough. Moving on to the next team in the AFC East is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, like the New York Jets, improved a lot from 2018 to 2019. To be honest, I thought they had one of the best offseasons in the entire NFL. They drafted one of the best players in the draft at 9th overall in Ed Oliver, and a very good guard in the 2nd round in Cody Ford. As a Vikings fan, I wanted us to draft Cody Ford at pick 18 up until draft day, when I started to prefer Bradbury over Ford. But regardless, Ford was a day 1 talent, and I wouldn't have minded my team taking him at 18, let alone where the Bills got him at pick 38. They also drafted a solid running back in Devin Singletary, who will have 2 very good running backs to learn from in LaShawn McCoy and Frank Gore. Dawson Knox will never be a tight end 1 in fantasy, but he doesn't have to be in the Bills' offense. The Bills have Zay Jones, who is now in his 3rd year, and they signed veteran receivers Cole Beasley and John Brown. I like the approach the Bills are taking with their young franchise quarterback in getting him weapons and building a line around him to get him as comfortable as they possibly can. I truthfully think Josh Allen can get 30 total touchdowns in a full 16-game schedule, and think the Bills are going to be a dark horse playoff team. I don't think they'll get in, but I do think they'll be competitive the whole season and probably finish around the 7-9 seed in the AFC. Looking at their schedule, their first 3 games are at the Jets, which could easily go either way, at the Giants, which I think is a win for the Bills, and home against the Bengals, which should be another win for Buffalo. I do not doubt a 3-0 start for them. They then play New England and Buffalo and go to Nashville to Tennessee before their bye week. A 4-1 start is definitely possible for the Bills. After the bye, they play 3 straight home games against Miami, Philly, and Washington. Buffalo honestly could start out 6-2. They then go to Cleveland and Miami, which puts them around the 7-3 or 6-4 mark, assuming they'll drop a game or 2 somewhere in here, which is still in playoff territory. They then play the Broncos at home, go to Dallas, and play Baltimore at home. I think they'll lose to both Dallas and Baltimore, which would have them at 5 to 6 losses on the year. Their final 3 games are tough, as they play at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, and home against the Jets. I think the best outcome for the Bills is 9-7 or 10-6, and the worst is 7-9 or 8-8. I really like what they did this offseason, and I'm looking forward to the progression of Josh Allen. Hopefully he can hurdle another team's linebacker this year, and I can enjoy it from a fan's point of view and not be against my team. Moving on to the next team in the AFC East is the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins in the 2019 draft added Christian Wilkins, who should contribute right away as he was a 3-year starter for Clemson and a 2-time national champion as well. While not a sexy pick, it was a solid pick by the Dolphins, who have a lot of holes in their roster, and they added a day 1 starter in the first round. They did not select again until the 3rd round, where they got an offensive lineman in Michael Dieter from Wisconsin, who will probably start at left guard right away. The Dolphins drafted 2 day 1 starters and 3 if you include their 2nd round pick, Josh Rosen. I like them taking Isaiah Prince from Ohio State late, as I think he can be a solid developmental pick, and Myles Gaskin, the running back from Washington, as well. However, despite all these positives, I do not think the Dolphins are in for a bright 2019. For starters, who are Josh Rosen or Ryan Fitzpatrick, who by the way I think starts a few games for, in this season going to throw to. Kenny Stills is not a number 1 receiver by any means, and Devontae Parker has not lived up to expectations as a first-round pick. To make things more upbeat about the Dolphins, though, I do like Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage and think that the Dolphins are at minimum okay at the running back position. I also think Mike Gesicki can have a good second year, as most tight ends simply do not have great seasons statistically in their rookie years. I'm hoping for a 45 to 50 catch season and 500 yards along with 5 to 6 touchdowns from Mike in year number 2. I love Minkah Fitzpatrick and think the Dolphins have a true gem in their secondary. Now looking at their schedule, and their first 4 games are home against the Ravens, home against the Patriots, at the Cowboys, and home against the Chargers. I honestly think they'll start out 0-4 and be 0-4 going into their Week 5 bye. However, it would not surprise me if they do beat the Chargers in Week 4, as West Coast teams are normally not very good on the East Coast for 1 o'clock games. They could surprise the Chargers, but don't count on it. After the bye, they have home against the Skins, at the Bills, and at the Steelers, and I think they'll go 1-2 during that span with a win against the Skins. It would not surprise me if they split against the Bills or the Jets. The next 3 are home against the Jets, at the Colts, and home against the Bills. I think they have the potential to win the 2 division games, but don't know if they will. The next 3 are at Cleveland, home against the Eagles, and at the Jets, and I personally think they'll go 0-3 during this span. The final 3 are at the Giants, home against the Bengals, and at the Patriots. The Dolphins could very well end the season on a 3-game winning streak depending on if the Patriots rest their starters or play them in Week 17. I think it's going to be a long year for the Dolphins in 2019, but I think 2020 and beyond looks good for the Dolphins, as they, and this could be wrong because the article that I got this from was published on day 2 of the draft from this year, but 2 picks in every round starting in the 3rd round of the 2020 draft. That's a great foundation for a team to build around, but they have to hit their picks. I think the Dolphins finish 2019 up around 3-13 or 4-12. Moving on to the final team in the AFC East is the defending Super Bowl champions, the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are the defending champions for the 6th time in the past 20 years and for the 3rd time in the past 5. They have the GOAT at quarterback in Tom Brady and the GOAT on the sidelines in head coach Bill Belichick. Looking at their draft class, I really like their first selection in wide receiver N'Keal Harry. N'Keal has great potential in the Patriots offense, and I'm personally going to try and target him late in fantasy drafts this season. They took Joejuan Williams in the 2nd round out of Vanderbilt, but I really like their first 3rd round pick, Chase Winovich. Winovich to me seems like a New England Patriot in every way, and I truly think he'll be a great player down the road. They also took Damian Harris, a running back out of Alabama, which knowing the Patriots, he probably won't play all that much in the regular season due to Sony Michel, but Harris will have a 100-yard and 2-touchdown game in Foxborough in January. I also like tackle Yadni Kajust and thought that was a great pick for where they selected him and what he'll bring to the table in the near future. The Patriots may have also taken the heir to Tom's throne in Jarrett Stidham, who has looked good so far in the preseason. I really like their draft class and thought they came out as winners. They are now, of course, without star tight end Rob Gronkowski, but they still have Super Bowl MVP Julian Edelman along with Josh Gordon recently being reinstated. Now taking a look at the Patriots' schedule, they open up home against the Steelers, then go to Miami, and then play the Jets at home. I envision the Patriots having a 3-0 start. They then have back-to-back road games being at Buffalo and at the Redskins, and I could honestly see them having trouble in Buffalo, but I do think the Patriots start out 5-0. Their next 4 are home against the Giants, at the Jets, home against the Browns, and at the Ravens. I think they'll lose at least one of these games for sure, but they'll go into the Week 10 bye at no less than 7-2. They have a very tough 4-game stretch coming off the bye as they play at Philadelphia, home against the Cowboys, at Houston, and home against the Chiefs. I think the Patriots will lose 2 of those 4, but I'm not sure as to which it will be because all of the games could honestly go either way. I don't think they'll lose all 4 and stumble to 7-6 by any means, but I do think they'll be 9-4 after 13 games. After that tough 4-game stretch, they have a breeze of a final 3 games, as they play at Cincy and play Buffalo and Miami at home. I think the Patriots will finish around 12-4 and have a first-round bye in the AFC. The AFC East is the Patriots, followed by 3 young teams. I think the young teams, and more so the Jets and Bills, will be in a good position to compete against the Patriots for a division title in 2020 and 2021, but not this year. I think the Dolphins are probably a year behind that. That's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you for watching, and have a great day.